Today, there is a lot of interesting news from Russia. Ukraine's new domestically produced cruise missile has shown it can now strike further into Russian territory, reaching as far as St. Petersburg, Moscow, and the Caucasus oil fields. The debut of the Long Neptune missile not only devastated a massive Russian oil refinery, but also signaled a new phase in the war, where no high-value Russian target is truly safe. The Ukrainians launched a major missile strike on the strategic Russian oil refinery in Tuapse, causing a large fire that spread across over 1,000 square meters of the refinery. Geolocated footage from the area reveals that, despite the deployment of many firefighters, they were unable to extinguish the fire for 2 days, risking the spread of flames and the potential destruction of the entire refinery. Tuapse oil refinery is one of Russia's largest refineries, capable of processing up to 12 million tons of oil annually, dealing damage to both the Russian economy and military operations. Initially, the explosion was blamed on drone strikes, but doubts emerged when the Ukrainian General Staff confirmed that they had used a new version of the Neptune missile, debuting the Long Neptune, with an extended range, payload, and guidance system. According to official statements, the Long Neptune has a 150 kg warhead. However, based on the size of the explosion and the damage inflicted on the target, several analysts speculate that it could be as much as 300 kg. Additionally, the Ukrainian General Staff stated that the Long Neptune has an improved range of up to 1,000 km, compared to the 300 km range of the previous version, although future deep strikes might prove differently. For comparison, American ATACMS missiles have a maximum range of 300 km and a payload of 24 kg of explosives. German Taurus cruise missiles have a range of 500 km, which is half the range of the new Ukrainian Long Neptune. As you know, the biggest restriction on Ukraine's strike capabilities has been the limited deliveries and permissions tied to Western weapon systems. However, since the Long Neptune is domestically produced, this means that besides a massively increased range, Ukraine has now gained self-sufficiency regarding cruise missiles to be used for strikes against high-value Russian targets. Beyond oil refineries, the new Long Neptune missile can strike strategic Russian military infrastructure, including critical command centers in Moscow, Rostov, Volgograd, and St. Petersburg. Furthermore, this allows the Ukrainians to more effectively strike Russian military and airbases that they previously could only target with drones. Most notably, these include Engels, Yeysk, Akhtybinsk, and Morozovsk strategic airbases, which Russia uses to launch strategic bombers for attacks on Ukrainian civilian and military targets. If Ukraine launches a major Neptune strike campaign against Russian airfields, the Russian Air Force would be forced to withdraw from these air bases or heavily reduce their air support over Ukraine. This would relieve both Ukrainian frontline soldiers and military infrastructure in the rear. On top of critical air bases, the Ukrainians could now also strike ammunition depots, weapon warehouses, critical infrastructure, high-level command posts located deep in the rear. This could majorly disrupt Russian offensive operations. However, the Russians are unable to move their assets further away than they already are, without creating excessive distance from the front lines. This means the highly centralized Russian military may need to decentralize its essential infrastructure, which would be a logistical nightmare. Such an operation would not only be difficult, but would also create new vulnerabilities. Overall, the Ukrainians launched their first successful strike with Long Neptune missiles, inflicting severe damage on one of Russia's largest oil refineries. This weapon now poses an even greater risk to Russia's most critical military infrastructure. President Zelensky also announced that Ukraine's military-industrial complex will produce 100,000 long-range munitions of various types, including Long Neptune cruise missiles. This further underscores Ukraine's massive achievement, as it now has the capability to strike valuable and critical Russian targets deep in enemy territory on a scale never seen before. If you oppose the invasion of Ukraine and support the work I'm doing, consider subscribing to our independent news website. There you can find exclusive strategic insights, comprehensive overviews of all fronts, regular tactical analysis videos. By subscribing, you will not only support this channel, but also help defend independent journalism. Thank you for watching this report, and I appreciate everyone who has stepped up to join us.